Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 Millennium Dawn with me, Alpha and Ukraine. The date is 1st of August 2021, and we are amidst final preparations for the attack on Russia. But before we go there, I want to spend a bit of time talking about the real world. Now, for those of you that are not interested, I split the video. You can see it through the timestamps, and you can skip ahead. But today I have some very interesting news coming from Russia by Russians, which is something that I do not spend a whole lot of time speaking about in my playthrough. But this time I'm going to make an exception. So, what am I droning about here? Well, the second phase of the so-called special military operation is underway. Ukraine's forces are being bombarded all over their defensive positions. But we will get to that later. What I want to start with is something else, something that might surprise you. An analysis of the current situation by Igor Ivanovich Strelkov-Girkin, second minister of the defense of the Donetsk People's Republic. This guy is a veteran from Soviet and Russian army and was involved in many ways as a Russian nationalist in the annexation of Crimea and the conflict in Eastern Europe. And also, if I'm not mistaken, he is also one of the lead suspects in the shooting down of the Malaysian flight MH17. Now, I will link some information about him in the description of the video. He is an interesting Russian person, not in a good way, but interesting nonetheless. So you can read a bit more about him. Now, I want to say that currently he holds no power, as he was semi-forcibly removed from all his positions after the MH17 disaster, which, points more towards his blame. And I think that he even he even took pride on shooting down this airplane on Twitter before he realized that it was a civilian flight. But anyway, I digress. Why I want to mention him is that on 20th of April, he has published a really interesting analysis that I first missed completely. And while I am fully aware what kind of a human being he is, this is nonetheless a very interesting critical analysis coming from the other side that we usually see. Now, as he holds no power, he is very open in his criticism, and while this original pamphlet has had several pages that I read in full, albeit in translation, but read it in full, I want to share some things that he pointed out in his criticism. So first and most important is that he mentions that Ukraine is getting an upper hand in the long term, which I agree with completely. After, and this is, in sarcastic quotation marks, Russia has successfully finished the first phase of the war by destroying the eastern parts of Ukraine and regrouping their forces in the east on the Donetsk line. According to Girkin, Russia will try to gain complete control of the desired territory of the People's Republics and stop there. Now, he expected this, and we can see it happening right now. Creation of 2 or 3 army groups, which will, in Kremlin's mind, massacre the forces of Ukraine and win the war. To this point, he has 3 extremely important things to say that I think are very important to reiterate even here. First, there is a continuous underestimation of the Ukrainian forces across all aspects of warfare. Even now, after such a long and bloody fight, Russia is still extremely transparent and slow in execution of their plans. Now, Ukraine has, at this point, weeks to prepare heavily fortified positions across the entire new front line, and now Russia has no other choice but to try to overcome these very positions, which will cause further massive casualties to their army. Second, Russia is still acting as if it has a massive advantage in air force and artillery. To this, Girkin points that it is just not true. As far as the air force is concerned, Ukraine had and continues to have a large and effective anti-air defense that cripples the tactical support of Russian Air Force. And as far as artillery is concerned, Ukrainians have demonstrated that they have a large-scale field recon and spotting force that mitigates any damage the Russian shelling can have, especially as Ukrainians now have and use drones all the way down to the platoon level. Furthermore, Ukrainian artillery has large, well-trained personnel that has almost unlimited amount of anti-tank guided missiles, ATGMs as we see them in the game, and they do not fail to use these against Russian armored forces. In the upcoming days, the Russian army will have to fight in urban environments, and this is where these weapons are extremely deadly to any vehicle that is used by the Russian army. And while the supply of tanks and IFVs on the Russian side is not unlimited, Ukraine is still receiving weapons from all of the Western world. Third is the manpower argument, which is also false. While Russia has a bigger army as a total, much bigger than Ukraine, these units are pulled, the units that are pulled, only a portion of units are pulled into the fights in Ukraine. And these are not only inferior in the amount of training, they are also on par as a whole with the Ukrainian forces. So it is basically an even fight. Now, what is also important, many of the Russian forces are assigned, according to Girkin, to downright idiotic tasks like shows of force, looting, attacking civilian targets, siege of Mariupol, or logistic duties. And while these forces are thus occupied, Russia is still acting as if it has the upper hand in numbers, trying to encircle and destroy Ukrainian forces which had no problem in the past to break through any encirclement and will have no such problems in the future either. What is alarming for the Russians is also the fact that Russian forces are getting crippled by massive casualties, and Ukraine has massive logistic supports from abroad and have a highly motivated population that easily fills any gaps created by the Russians. So in short, while Russia is bleeding, Ukraine is growing. Not only that, Girkin estimates that within 1 or 2 months, Ukraine will finish their third wave of general mobilization and have additional 10 to 20 divisions that will be fresh, equipped with Western weapons, and well trained. Therefore, the long, arduous fighting that is now going to happen along the Eastern Front is what Ukraine wants. This is what they need. The defensive positions will keep stalling Russian advance, making this a bloody, exhausting conflict. And if Russia doesn't change its strategy, it is risking a defeat that Girkin compares to the defeat of the German forces in Russia in the year 1943 during the Citadel operation, which in short means that the Russian exhausted, depleted forces will be hit by new, fresh Ukrainian forces and forced to surrender or quickly retreat, losing much more than they had until that point. Further, Girkin mentions, if this happens, there is no stopping the Ukrainians from attacking Russian territory and waging the war in the Russian homelands. Basically, this would be a full-out retreat, as he sees it. Now, I consider this personally probably impossible to happen, because that would turn Ukrainians into the aggressors and most likely stop the Western support, and would then give Russians a very needed morale boost, because now they would be fighting for their homeland, and in such case Putin or anyone can do whatever they want in their attempt to crush Ukraine. But still, Girkin thinks this is a realistic possibility, and if this is what will happen, pushing Russians out of Ukraine completely is what could happen realistically. So Girkin then continues with a series of accusations and recommendations on how to avoid this defeat, including, and this is what he suggests, general mobilization, mandatory draft across all of Russia, and basically decisive overrunning of the Ukrainian forces in the upcoming weeks. Now, of course, this is kind of hard to do when you claim there's actually no war happening and everything is going according to the plan of the special military operation, as Putin puts it. So, well, this is probably the right path to go for Russia. Well, I hate to say something like that. It's most likely not going to happen. So anyway, in short, even some of the Russians that are in Russia can see that the current situation is not going well for Russia. The longer this conflict will continue, the higher the chance that Russia will be defeated, as they are getting drained financially, bleeding manpower, and there is dissent rising even in the highest circles. Cool. So that's what I wanted to say about his analysis. And now I want to conclude the talk by a couple of bullet points from this conflict that I think still deserves to be mentioned. So first of all, Russia will no longer publish their economic data, and I quote, to make it harder for foreign subversions to impact their economy. Right. It is totally that, and not to not to show that your economy is crumbling. Second point, Russia has refused any kind of ceasefire during the Orthodox Easter, despite numerous offers from Ukraine. I find this very interesting, because if you do not know this, Easter is quite a big thing for the Orthodox faith, even for the Western Christian religion, but for Orthodox faith even more so, and it's second only to the New Year celebration. So it kind of shows you what kind of mentality there is in Russia, which is trying to show itself as very religious, but they just refuse any kind of ceasefire. By the way, the official statement by the Russian side was that it would allow Ukrainians to provoke more hostilities anyway, so there is no point in stopping fighting. UN has mentioned recently that about 4.5 million Ukrainian children, which is over a half of the total amount, are now displaced, whether it is in Ukraine or abroad. And at this point, sorry, I'm looking through my notes here. There's a lot of things that I wrote down. Okay, the next one is that at this point, Ukraine has defeated any Russian attempt to break through their defensive line. But there has been a lot of speculations about a big offensive against the city of Kryvyi Rih, which you can see right here. Kryvyi Rih is, after the fall of Mariupol, the biggest steel-producing city in Ukraine. It's also the home or the birth city of Volodymyr Zelensky. And I saw estimates that within 5 days or less, a spearhead attack could be mounted against the city. But whether any Russian division could actually make it across Dnieper and into this territory so deep through the Ukrainian defenses, I cannot say. Still, the city is being fortified as we speak. It is being prepared. There's an evacuation going on. So, yeah, we shall see. But, my expectations would be that either what's going to happen is that Russia will not be able to breach the defenses and reach Kryvyi Rih, or that any such division that would get close to the city would be encircled and destroyed by the Ukrainian reserves. But, I have absolutely no idea what the manpower and positioning of the troops is along the new front line, so we shall see. Okay, and last but not least, both Finland and Sweden are expected to apply to join NATO in May. So, good job, Mr. Putin. You certainly made sure NATO will not grow. Okay, and this concludes our update from the real world. I hope that you found this interesting. I really wanted to share these news with you. As always, I would welcome any feedback on what I was speaking about, because while I rarely read news from Russia directly or their military news, because they are like 99% false. The one written by Igor Girkin really caught my eye, not only because it was very concise, very open, and very critical of the current warfare, but also because it actually made a couple of good points, which is very rare to see. Okay, so where are we in the game? Well, we have seen that Russia has attacked and puppeted Latvia. Is it? Yes, Latvia, which now has a different flag. It is... Dang, I'm still not sure what the reactionaries represent here. I guess it's a communist state, so it's a reactionary... Oh, wait, that's a party. Yes, that's a... Do you even have... Does this exist in Latvia? Is there actually a party called Reactionaries? That would be kind of interesting. So Russia puppeted Latvia, and now it is officially having a war goal against the United States of Europe. They want to puppet them, which is probably not going to happen, considering the amount of forces Russia has is slightly smaller than we have, though they have been building up forces recently. And compared to United States of Europe, they have about a half of the forces. So I don't expect that to happen. Now, what we are doing at this point is we are training 3 more divisions for our motorized army. And we are training an entirely new army of coast guards. Now, these are going to be defensive units that are going to be put around our entire coast, defending it from a Russian attack. And while we are going to advance into Russian territory, these guys will protect our homeland. Now, 20 divisions might seem like a bit of an overkill, but that will allow us to position all of them along the coast. And in case of an attack will appear anywhere, it will slow down the invasion, give them the ability to regroup, support that territory, and more importantly, it will alarm us so that we can pull back some forces and crush any such attempt. Now, considering Russia has moved their forces probably along the border of the United States of Europe, and they are probably preparing a fight there, I think that the moment when we are going to start the war is going to be the moment when we have Coast Guards trained and deployed, which is on 9th of October 2021. Now, in case Russia actually does attack United States of Europe, we are still going to wait until these forces are deployed, and then we are going to go and attack. You guys made quite an interesting point that we should have probably intervened when Latvia was attacked. I would have if they actually accepted my guarantee, which they didn't. So, at that point, there was a ticking clock, and we have our own schedule. But either way, if this war happens, we are going in. If it doesn't happen, we are going in. We need to attack. And that's probably going to be the end of the Let's Play, because this war is going to take much of the upcoming episodes, and if our plan fails, we are pretty much screwed anyway. Now, I think that it would be fair at this point to start preparing the plans for the attack and see what is going to happen. But we're gonna do... Well, actually, let's do it. Let us do it now. We'll see how that's gonna go. Actually, no. Let's do that in September, because Russia is now preparing probably for the attack, and I don't want to give them any reason to regroup their forces prematurely. We're still upgrading our economy. We have a lot of things being built, and you guys actually mentioned that I should check. Yep, these are missile production, ICBMs, SLB. Wait, which ones are... Yeah, SAMs. So these ones are the ones that we could produce. Range 120 kilometers. interception chance. Okay, what am I? CIC? 10 CIC to this production. I'm actually not sure what that means. Civilian industry. Oh, probably civilian industry capacity. Okay, 30. That what we have. Let's check it here. No, we have 45. Okay, well we can just start with these, but I know that we are researching more. But they will be done in 102 days, so there's no point in waiting for that. So let me just check how this is gonna work. Unit start 30. So let's see what this is gonna do. Did this completely kill our construction? And no. It has done nothing really. 29. Okay, so we're basically building a batch here that we are going to use. 30. Yeah, 28. Okay. Add 1 unit, add 1 CIC to this production. I'm not sure how that works. Well, we'll leave it go and then we'll see. We finished excavation 7. Further advancements in mining and other various extraction methods allow us to pull more and more resources from natural resource deposits. So extra 7.5% of resource extraction. And the next one will come in 2030, which is way too far. Way too far. We're really not hurting for oil. Is there anything now that would give us a direct benefit for the upcoming fight? I don't think so. These are all so ahead of time that I don't think they are even worth mentioning here. Electronics, education cost, research speed, production efficiency cap. Yeah, we could do this one. Reconnaissance plus 5% smart drones. So let's do those. And we'll see. Yeah, it looks like we're just producing a batch of SAM rockets. Okay, it's cool. I think what we should do here is we should actually start attaching our Air Force to our units. So what do we have here? We have the White Strike Fighters, and we have a number of air superiority fighters. We have 4 of those, but we will have 5 divisions. Do we have any more? No, we have more. 1, 2. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that is much better. So you guys are going to be attached to the heavy army. You guys are going to be attached to the what is pilot exercises. Stop that and get joined here. Actually, let's slow it down so we don't do this poorly. So we got about 100 of those attached. You guys are gonna go for air superiority, no drilling. You guys are also attached, no exercises, go for air superiority. You guys are motor. Okay, we need you attached to here. We need you attached to here, which is probably taking a bit of time to process. You guys are a whole new bag of cats. You're going to be attached to this unit. Anyone else? Yep, and we got 2 more. So let's attach these further to the heavy ones. And then take these Motorola's, which are a bit aged, but still can be seen as potentially useful. Wait, why are you guys not getting the attachments? Is it because there are no airports nearby? Or because... what's happening? Okay, so you guys got the free wings, but you guys didn't. That might be purely due to the fact that you don't have enough airfields there. So let's go here and dispose of this area defense and send you to the west of the country. Wait, did I select all of them, or I haven't? Dang it, these logistical operations are pretty harrowing. No? Okay, good. We have all of them there. So how's the progress going? You guys are fine. Let's give you all air superiority here. Yeah, these guys do not have anyone attached. How come? I noticed this before. I think there is a bit of a bug in this. Ukraine. Or did I reattach these to the wrong ones? It's a bit weird. First heavy army. Okay, you are supposed to be attached here. Okay, like this. 210. That makes sense. Who else is there? Air superiority fighting. You're attached. You're attached. And the light... these guys. You guys are gonna have air superiority. Okay, so the entire territory is considered Ukraine, so you just be in Ukraine. I like that. Okay, 22,000 peace treaty, 22%, not 1,000, 22% of world tension. And Russia is still not doing anything against United States of Europe. They are probably preparing for that, which I think might be a good point for us to prepare as well. Yeah, we need to delete your orders and just have it like this. The second motor-mechanized army is going to be... nope, that is wrong. Completely wrong. Let's put you like this. Third motor-mechanized group is going to be located here. And the fourth motor-mechanized group is going to be located here. Oh, that's a big movement, isn't it? And the fifth motorized. You are not drilling anymore. Okay, good. So we're just gonna go here. You guys are, but that is fine because you are going to be reassigned here. And we'll have you... I wish I could find the border here, but I just can't. The game is not allowing me to. I guess that's because there is no border. There's probably just a crossing or something like that. It's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, but let's not get hasty. Okay, how would our battle plan look? Well, we need to find good defensive positions which this certainly isn't, but okay. You guys can go all the way. It's a front line. Actually, I don't think you can make it all the way to Moscow, but let's try it. I mean, the sky's the limit. I'll have to micromanage you pretty extensively anyway. You guys are just gonna run all the way to here. And you guys have the only goal, and that is to get immediately to here. How will you fill that? Okay, that actually makes a whole lot of sense, even though if it's slightly slower than I would like it to. Could we do it this order and make it more concise? Would that change anything? That is looking better, but still not what I want. What if we used spearhead and just went like this? Okay, that is... I mean, spearhead could be much better. Compared to offensive fire, spearhead will aggressively try to take all provinces they are, without adjusting to changes. Prefer spearhead when you do overlapping encirclements, cutting off enemy. Okay, so we'll change all of our... With the exception of you guys. You are slow and methodical, but these guys are gonna take spearheads because that is okay. Let's put it slightly more to the west. How would this look? Okay, well, that could do it. It's not ideal, but we'll see. And this spearhead, I'd like you to get as far as possible. Okay, so this makes sense. So the battle plan would be this territory, this territory. Actually, I think I'm gonna change your order to spearhead as well and make it wide. Let's try to go like this. Yep, that is better. Any units that can get locked in the middle will be encircled and destroyed. We'll have to ensure that that is properly micromanaged. Okay, so we have made some sort of battle plan. I'm not entirely sure if this will work and how it is going to work, but it's a base to start. So our units are going to move to the positions they actually are. You guys are drilling. You guys are drilling 22%. Independence of United Arab Emirates. Oh, how's the Japanese war going? I haven't checked those, have I, at all? There's nothing really happening here. No naval invasions or anything. There is a conflict here. If you have no intel on the combat. Naval-wise, how are you doing naval-wise? I'm not entirely sure, but I think that China has started to lose some ships. And as far as air force go, yeah, I think China is taking casualty. I think these numbers are slightly lower than I remember them, but I cannot be sure. United Korea is looking really nice. That is something that I would like to mention. Justice Party, non-aligned outlook, next election in May. And how are we doing with Australia? They should have elections very soon. Ah, profits from asteroid mining. Good. which, of course, I forgot to translate into increasing operations. So let's do that. Australia, when's your next election? October 2022. Okay, until then, I think we are pretty much done. What's the... Yeah, there's no chance in hell they would accept us. But we have pretty good relations with them. That is definitely important. Let's improve relations even further. Keep improving them. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Russia has their forces all the way up there. So eventually this would lead to you guys fighting. This part of army cutting you off. We can send it north and part of those forces to fight if there are any troops down here. And you guys are just gonna aggressively take everything in the Crimea and along the coast. Because if we can eliminate the coast, that would actually... Actually, I think that is a wonderful point here. I'm gonna end the episode on noting that we are going to split you guys into 2 operational task forces. We're gonna have 1, 2. Let's have you guys spearhead over here. Nah, that's stupid. Spearhead over here. That wasn't spearhead, was it? Spearhead over here. Yep, like this. You guys spearhead over here. Oh, that is amazing. Okay. So let's do this and do it again. Yep, that will do it. Okay, so while these guys are going to quickly cut off the communication between the north and south, these guys are just gonna take the entire territory. I like that. Okay, and last but not least, let us check the intel on these territories. So this will give us a massive amount of military factories. Same here and here. But without actually taking this area, they will still have a big amount of factories retained. Jesus Christ, they're just chugging out factories as if there is no tomorrow. But if we do this right, this can work. This can work. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me for this episode. This has been thrilling. We are really preparing to strike Russia. We still have more units deployed than they do, which is giving me hope. Not that much hope, but hope. Hope nonetheless. Deploy ton of you. We are building strategic reserves, with the exception of the helicopters, recon tanks, battle tanks. Yeah, this is all pretty cool, but we still need to upgrade and reinforce our units, so I don't think getting more units out there at this point is a good idea, though it might be. Well, anyway, thank you very much for joining me. See you in the next episode.